Hi everyone, how are you all? So myself Nagappa, you are watching Appa Chemistry classes. So our today's topic is quantum numbers, which is the basic concepts which is we have to learn to write the electronic configuration. Okay na? So what is an atom? So in that atom, how the electrons are distributed, those all we are going to see here. That systematic distribution of electron is said to be what? Electronic configuration. If we want to write the electronic configuration means first we must know about the properties of electron, how that electron is distributed in an atom. So to find that electron, what are the major quantum numbers we need? Okay, those all we are going to see here. If you know this, if you are perfect with these concepts, definitely you are going to get the one question for the NEET exam as well as for the mains exam also. In IIT mains also they are asking the questions based on quantum numbers. Which of the following set of quantum numbers are incorrect, they are asking. If you have the complete detailed idea about 4 quantum numbers, then only you can answer such type of questions. So try to watch till the end of the video and don't skip the video. So try to watch till end, you will get complete information about quantum numbers. Okay na? Let's get into the video. Now here quantum numbers. Before going to this quantum numbers, first we must know about this atom. It is an atom. Atom consists the center. The center of the atom is called nucleus. The center of the atom is called nucleus. This nucleus contains protons and neutrons. Protons and neutrons. Nucleus contain protons and neutrons. Electrons will revolve around that nucleus. Now you see here whatever the cells are there around the nucleus in which the electron will revolve, those cells are represented with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on like that. So those are also represented as K, L, M, N, O like that. Okay na? So these are the orbits. These are also called energy levels. Okay na? Or energy cells. Now the energy cell or the orbit which is close to the nucleus, that energy cell is called lower energy cell. It is called lower energy cell. Lower energy cell. Now the energy cell which is far from the nucleus, that energy cell is called higher energy cell. Which is far from the nucleus, that is called higher energy cell. Higher energy cell. Okay na? So now, and also you must know about what is mean by valency cell, what is mean by penultimate cell, what is mean by anti-penultimate shell. Those shells, about those words you should have some idea. So the outermost shell will be there, no? The outermost shell is called valency cell. Outermost shell is called valency cell. The valency cell is also called ultimate shell. It is also called ultimate shell. Valency cell or ultimate shell. Before the valency cell, whatever the energy cell is there, that energy cell is said to be penultimate shell. What it is called? Penultimate shell. Penultimate shell. Okay. So before the penultimate shell, whatever the energy cell is there, that energy cell is called anti-penultimate. What it is called? Anti-penultimate shell. Anti-penultimate shell. Now if the valency cell will be represented with a small n, outermost shell is represented with n. Before the valency cell means one energy cell is less, no? So penultimate shell is represented with n minus 1. Anti-penultimate shell is represented with n minus 2. Is that clear? About the atom and energy cell, which energy cell is said to be lower energy cell? The energy cell or the orbit which is close to the nucleus, that is said to be lower energy cell. Which is far from the nucleus, that is called higher energy cell. The outermost shell in an atom is called valency cell. It is also called ultimate shell. Before the valency cell is called what? Penultimate shell. Before the penultimate shell is called anti-penultimate shell. Okay. So let's get into these quantum numbers. Now what are the quantum numbers we have? Majorly 4 quantum numbers are there. Schrodinger has given. Okay, Schrodinger wave equation is there, no? Based on that Schrodinger wave equation, so Schrodinger has told that we need to identify the electron in an atom, we need majorly 3 quantum numbers. Okay na? So what are those? Principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number and magnetic quantum number. But later it is found that spin quantum number is also necessary to identify the electron in an atom. So I will tell you some small thief story I will tell you to remember, easy to remember the quantum numbers. One thief is there, he done some robbery and he escaped. So where he hid it, we don't know. So we complained to the police. What the police needed, first thing, in which state he present. Okay na? So that is in which state he is hidden. So first they need the what state, in which state he is hidden. First they will inquire. After that, in state so many cities will be there. In which city he is present. Now right now, in which city he is hidden. Okay na? So that is in state we have the cities. After that, in city we have so many streets are there. Okay na? We have so many streets are there. So in which street he is present. After that, so in street we have the so many houses. So in which house number that thief is hidden. That is house number. Okay na? So this is the 4 major things they need to identify the thief. In the same way, to identify the electron in an atom, we need the 4 quantum numbers. Okay na? What are those? Principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number and spin quantum number. To identify the position of electron in an atom, we need 4 quantum number. Just like how we need to catch the, if we want to catch the thief means how we need the 4 informations. In the same way we need the 4 quantum numbers. In that first quantum numbers we are going to see. That is what the principal quantum number, which is indicated with a small n. Principal quantum number is indicated with a small n, which was proposed by Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr, why he proposed? Actually to explain the line spectrum. To explain line spectrum, to explain the spectrum of atom. That is what we are calling line spectrum. It is also called atomic spectrum. To explain the line spectrum, he proposed this spin quantum number. So this principal quantum number mainly tells us about what, which signifies the, what is the significance of this principal quantum number here, which signifies the in which energy cell the electron is located. Okay na? So as the number of n values are increases, then what happens? Size of the energy, size of the atom will be increases. That is, it signifies the size of atom and energy of atom. Size of atom and energy of the atom. Size and energy of the atom. Size and energy of the atom. Okay na? Principal quantum number signifies the size and energy of the atom. This principal quantum number are indicated with 1, 2, 3, 4, so on like that. Or else it is also indicated with K, L, M, N, so on like this. So these are energy cells. As number of energy cells are increases, the size of the atom will be increases or not. That is, energy cells will be increased means size of the atom increases. That is, energy of the atom is also increases. When the electron is far from the nucleus, then it has the more energy when compared to the, if it is present at the nucleus. Okay na? Is that clear? So now here the total number of electrons in an energy cell. The total number of electrons in an energy cell. Energy cell will gives you which formula? Energy cell will gives you 2n square. 2n square. That is, n is what here? Principal quantum number. If n is equal to 1, that is nothing but first energy cell. In first energy cell, how many electrons that can be accommodated? The maximum, the total number of electrons in an energy cell. In an energy cell that can accommodate in an energy cell will be how many? 2n square formula. 2 into 1 square, that is 2. If n is equal to 2, then what happens? 2 into 2 square. 2 square is 4. 4 2s are 8. So in second energy cell, maximum how many electron it can accommodate? Only 8 electron. If you are taking the n is equal to third energy cell, that is 2 into 3 square, that is 3 square 9, 9 2s 18, means in third energy cell maximum of how many electron we can accommodate? In the first energy cell only 2 electron, in the second energy cell total of 8 electrons we can accommodate, total of 8 electrons we can accommodate. In third energy cell total of 18 electron. If you are taking in fourth energy cell, how many electron it can accommodate? That is 32 electrons it can accommodate. Like that, by using that formula we can get the total number of electrons which are present in an energy cell. And also you can take here, and also you can take the orbital, whatever the orbit is there, no, here energy cells. So we have so many energy cells are there around the nucleus. So many orbits are there. Now in which orbit the electron will revolve means the orbit whose angular momentum must be an integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Here it is what? The electron will revolve around the nucleus whose orbit angular momentum must be integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Here what is n here? It is an integer. 1, 2, 3, so on like that. N is equal to 1 indicate it is a first energy cell. N is equal to 2 indicates it is a second energy cell, like that. Is that clear? So that is very important one. Yes. If n is equal to 1, if the electron is present in first energy cell whose angular momentum will be, what happens? It is an h by 2 pi. Whose angular momentum will be in a multiple of h by 2 pi. What is h here? It is a Planck's constant whose value is 6.625 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. Okay, na? So we can write it as in ergs it will be 6.625 into 10 power minus 27 erg second. Is it or not? That is 1 joule is equal to how many ergs it is? 10 power 7 x. So from this you will get this one. Is that clear? So that is about what? The principal quantum number. That is about principal quantum number. Now we are going to see the azimuthal quantum number. So second quantum number, that is azimuthal quantum number. It is also called subsidiary quantum number. Subsidiary quantum number or azimuthal quantum number. Subsidiary quantum number or azimuthal quantum number. So second one, azimuthal quantum number. Azimuthal quantum number. So azimuthal quantum number was given by the, it is indicated by the small l. Okay. So this was given by the Sommerfeld, which was given by the Sommerfeld to explain the structure of fine lines in line spectra. Finer lines in line spectra. So whatever the splitting of line spectrum will take place, no, in that finer lines, splitting of line spectrum into further finer lines, which was not explained. To explain that, Sommerfeld has proposed this azimuthal quantum number. The azimuthal quantum number values will be lies between 0 to n minus 1. Azimuthal quantum number values depends on the principal quantum number, so it lies between 0 to n minus 1. Okay, na? So now this azimuthal quantum number is there, no? Here, for example, if you are taking in case of n is equal to 1, that is in first energy cell. In first energy cell, how many what type of subcell it is present here? First we will see what it signifies. After that we will come to this point. So azimuthal quantum number signifies the shape of the subcell, shape of the orbital. Signifies the shape of orbital. Shape of orbital and type of subcell and type of subcell. Type of subcell. We have different types of subcells are there. That is S subcell, P subcell, D subcell, F subcell. So in these, what type of orbital? The electron is located in which type of orbital? That is, shape of the orbital was given by the azimuthal quantum number. We'll take here It is nucleus, first energy cell, second, third, fourth. Okay now. So now here for example n is equal to 1. So it is first energy cell, second energy cell, third, fourth. Okay now. Now if n is equal to 1, what are the L values possible? 0 to 1 minus 1, that is 0. L is equal to 0 only. So that is, if L is equal to 0, then it is called S subcell. If L is equal to 1, then it is called P subcell. If L is equal to 2, it is called D subcell. If L is equal to 3, it is called F subcell. So that is, L signifies the shape of the orbital and the nature of the subcell which are present, type of subcell which is present. If it is S orbital, what is the shape? It will be spherical shape. What is the shape here? Spherical shape. P orbital is dumbbell shape. P orbital is dumbbell shape. And D orbital is double dumbbell, double dumbbell, double dumbbell. And F orbital is four-fold dumbbell, four-fold dumbbell, four-fold dumbbell, or bell shape it is simply called. Okay na? So if n is equal to 1, L value will be 0. If n is equal to 2, what are the possible L values? L is equal to 0 means it is an S subcell, that is S orbital. If L is equal to n is equal to 2 means 0 to 2 minus 1, 0 to 1. Okay na? That is 0 and 1. Two values are possible. If L is equal to 0, it is called S subcell. L is equal to 1 means it is called P subcell. Now you see here in first energy cell, we have only S subcell is there. N is equal to 1 means only S subcell is there. In second energy cell, we have S is there and P is there. If you are taking N is equal to 3, then what are the L values are possible? L is equal to 0 to 3 minus 1. That is 0 to 2 means total of 0, 1, 2 is possible. 0 means S subcell, 1 means P subcell, 2 means D subcell. In third energy cell, we have total of S, P, D. 3 subcells are possible. If N is equal to 4 are there, then L is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. That is S, P, D, F. If it is N is equal to 5, S, P, D, F, G. Okay, na, like that. So it will, in case of fourth energy cell, S, P, D, F. 4 subcells are there. Is that clear? So that is, azimuthal quantum number depends on the principal quantum number. Azimuthal quantum number values are lies between 0 to n minus 1. So what are the L signifies here? L signifies the shape of the orbital and type of subcell in which the electron is present. Is that clear? So now we are going to see the number of orbitals present in an subcell. The maximum number of orbitals present in an subcell. The maximum number of orbitals in a subcell. The maximum number of orbitals in subcell will give you which formula here? 2L plus 1. So how many orbitals are there in a subcell means that gives the formula as what? 2L plus 1. If you are taking the S subcell, so then L is equal to 0 for the S subcell. Is it or not? L is equal to 0 means number of orbitals will be how many here? Number of orbitals in S subcell will be 2 into 0 plus 1. That is, only one orbital is there in S subcell. So for that reason, whenever we are writing S, we will write only one box. Now you take for the P subcell. For P subcell, what is the L value here? Only 1. Okay na? So the number of orbitals in P subcell will be 2 into 1 plus 1, that is 3 orbitals are there. If you are taking the P subcell contains 3 orbitals. What are those? Px orbital, Py orbital and Pz orbital. Px orbital is orienting along the x-axis, Py orbital is orienting along the y-axis, Pz orbital is orienting along the z-axis. If you are taking this is a x-axis, y-axis it is a z-axis. Then if you are drawing like this, if the orbital is present along the x-axis, it is called Pz, Px orbital. If it is present along the y-axis, then it is py orbital. That is the shape of dumbbell. Okay, now p orbitals are having, p subcell is having the dumbbell shape, no? That is dumbbell shape. Is that clear? So if you are taking the D subcell, in D subcell, how many orbitals will be? L is equal to how much for the D subcell? It is, just now I had written, no? L is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 means S, P, D, F. Now L is equal to, for D subcell, how much L value? 2 it is. So for 2 it will be, number of orbitals will be how many it is? So 2 into 2 plus 1, that is 5. So if you are taking D orbital, that is D subcell, in D subcell, total of how many orbitals are there? Total 5 orbitals are there. One is what? dxy, dyz, next one is dzx, next one is dx square minus y square, last one is dz square. These first three are there, no? These first three orbitals, two dumbbells are present in between the axis. These three orbitals are orienting towards the nucleus in between the axis. In between the axis. Okay, na? So, but whereas these two orbitals orient the electrons in these two orbitals along the axis. These are along the axis. Along the axis. Now you take the what for F orbital, for F subcell, L is equal to 3. Then what happens? Number of orbital in F subcell will be how many? That is 2 into for F subcell 3, no? 3 plus 1, that is 6 plus 1, that is 7. If you are taking in F subcell, total of how many orbitals are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So total 7 orbitals are there. Is that clear? So that is very important azimuthal quantum number. After that we will see here the maximum number of electron that can accommodate in an orbital will be how many electron? This is an orbital. Okay, na? So in an orbital, the maximum capacity of an electron will be only 2 electrons. Only 2 electrons. If you are taking the maximum number of electron, maximum number of electrons in subcell. In subcell will gives you which formula here? 2 into 2L plus 1. That is, number of orbitals will be 2L plus 1. In one orbit, 2 electron. Maximum how many electron it can accommodate? 2. That is 2 into 2L plus 1 will gives you the total number of electrons in a subcell will gives you formula is what? 2 into 2L plus 1 or else 4L plus 2 it is called. Now if L is equal to 0, that is S subcell. So how many number of electron that can be present here? 4 into 0 plus 2, that is 2 electron. Means in S subcell maximum how many electron it can accommodate? Only 2 electron, because S subcell contain only one orbital, which is very important. L is equal to 1 if you are taking, that is P subcell. In P subcell 4 into 1 plus 2, that is 6 electron. You see here maximum S will be written as S1 and S2. We should not write S3. Some students, they are writing like that S3. Those who don't know the electronic configuration, they are writing. So it is not possible to accommodate 3 electrons. Maximum capacity of S subcell will be 2 electrons. Okay, na? That is 2 electrons. The maximum capacity of P subcell will be 6 electrons, because which consists of 3 orbitals. So in each orbital capacity will be 2 electrons. Okay, na? The P subcell capacity is 6 electrons. Now if it is, you are taking the L is equal to D, that is D subcell, the maximum electron will be 4 into 2 plus 2, that is how many it will be? 10 electron. That is D subcell contain how many orbitals here? 5 orbitals. So in each orbital 2 electrons. So total how many it will be? 10 electrons. If you are taking for the F subcell, L is equal to 3 for F subcell, then 4 into 3 plus 1, 2, that is 4 3 is a 12 plus 2, that is 14 electron. If you are taking the next one, 4 into 4, 16 plus 2, that is 18 in case of G subcell. Like that we can get all the number of electrons in each subcell. Is that clear? So azimuthal quantum number was indicated by the L, which was given by the Sommerfeld. So what it signifies? It signifies the shape of the orbital. In which shape of what is the shape of the orbitals it was given. So and also type of subcell. In which type of subcell the electron is present. Okay, now this all data is very important for objective point of view. Okay, now is that clear everyone? So next we are going to see the third quantum number. Third quantum number. What is third quantum number? Magnetic quantum number. Third quantum number is magnetic quantum number. Magnetic quantum number. So what is magnetic quantum number here? Magnetic quantum number was indicated by small m, which was given by the Landé to explain Zeeman effect and Stark effect. To explain the Zeeman and Stark effect. So he proposed the what? These quantum numbers. Okay, now which quantum number? Magnetic quantum number. What is meant by Zeeman effect? The splitting of spectral line into finer lines in presence of magnetic field is called Zeeman effect. The splitting of spectral lines in presence of electric field is called Stark effect. The splitting of spectral lines into the further finer lines in presence of magnetic field is called Zeeman effect. In presence of electric field is called Stark effect. Now what this magnetic quantum number signifies? Which signifies the orientation of orbital. Which signifies the orientation of orbital. Orientation of orbital in a subcell. Orientation of orbital in a subcell. So how the orbital is oriented in a subcell was explained by the magnetic quantum number. If you are taking the S subcell, contains only one orbital which is spherical. So but whereas P subcell if you are taking, which contains the three orbitals, so one orbital will be oriented along the x-axis, another one is along the y-axis, another one is along the z-axis. Similarly D subcell if you are taking, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is dxy, dyz, dzx, dx square minus y square and dz square. These are the 5 orbitals which are orienting. These out of 5, 3 are orienting in between the axis, these 2 are orienting along the axis. How they are orienting in a subcell was explained by the magnetic quantum number. Now the magnetic quantum number values depends on the azimuthal quantum number, that is which includes the what? Minus L to plus L including 0. Minus L to plus L including 0. That is if you are taking n is equal to 1, then L value will be 0. L is equal to 0 means then M value will be also 0. That is minus 0, 0 plus 0 means 0 only. If n is equal to 2, then what are the possible L values? 0 and 1. Okay na? So if it is L is equal to 0 means M is also 0. For L is equal to 1 means P subcell no. For P subcell L is equal to 1 means minus 1, 0 plus 1. Minus 1, 0 plus 1. If it is for L is equal to 1 is nothing but what? P subcell no. So P subcell contain minus 1, 0 and plus 1. Generally minus 1 for the minus and plus 1 for the x and y axis, and for z axis it will be 0. Okay na? Anything it can be. Simply it can represent it as plus 1, 0, minus 1 or minus 1, 0, plus 1. Now for the n is equal to third energy cell. Then what happens? What are the possible values of L? L is equal to 0, 1, 2. So 3 values are possible for the n is equal to 3. So if it is L is equal to 0 means M is also 0. If n is equal to L is equal to 3, 1 means M value will be minus 1, 0, plus 1. If L is equal to 2 means M values are possible for the what? Minus 2 to plus 2. Minus 2 to plus 2, what are the possible values? Minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2. How many possible values are there for L is equal to 2? 5. For L is equal to 1, 3. Now for L is equal to 1 is nothing but P subcell. In P subcell, how many orbitals are there? 3 orbital. What are the values for those 3 orbital? One is having minus 1, another one plus 1 and 0. So for L is equal to 2, that is for D subcell, what are the possible values? Minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2. L equal to 2 means M values are how many are possible? 5, total 5. If L is equal to 3 is there, then what are the possible values of M here? minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3. Okay, now total how many values are possible? 7. That is for the F subcell. If you are taking for the G subcell, how many values will be? Minus 4 to plus 4. Okay, now minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4. So total how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 possible values are there. Is that clear? That is what magnetic quantum number. Okay, na? Is that clear? Now I forgot to tell you the orbital angular momentum. The orbital angular momentum was represented as capital L is equal to, it is an integral multiple of L into L plus 1 into H by 2 pi. For the orbital angular momentum, we had seen the energy cell. In an energy cell, in which energy cell the electron will be revolved means whose energy cell angular momentum must be an integral multiple of H by 2 pi. It is what? Orbital angular momentum, that is L into L plus 1 into H by 2 pi. Is that clear? So magnetic quantum number was clear, I think so. Next we are going to see the spin quantum number. Next one is spin quantum number. Spin quantum number. Very important, spin quantum number is also fourth one, that is spin quantum number. Spin quantum number. What is spin quantum number? Which is indicated with S. So here which is indicated with S, which was proposed by Uhlenbeck and Goudsmit. Uhlenbeck and Goudsmit. Uhlenbeck and Goudsmit was introduced this spin quantum number to explain the how we are getting the doublet two spectral lines in for the first A group elements. If you are taking, you are getting the what doublet spectral lines, you are getting double lines you are observing. But whereas if you are taking for the alkaline earth metals, you are finding the what doublet and triplet spectral lines. To explain the doublet and triplet spectral lines in second A group and 1A group, so these Uhlenbeck and Goudsmit has proposed this spin quantum number, which signifies the what it is significance. So significance of the spin quantum number is here, which signifies the orientation of electron. What it is signifies? Orientation of electron. Orientation of electrons in an orbital. In an orbital. Orientation of electron in an orbital was given by the what? Spin quantum number, which signifies the how the electron is oriented in an orbital. If you are taking this is an orbital, if the electron is oriented in this direction, then it is called clockwise orientation. It is called clockwise direction of electron orientation in an orbital. So for this spin quantum number will be plus 1 by 2, and if the electron is oriented in downward direction, it is called anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction whose spin quantum number will be same but with opposite sign. Is that clear? Spin quantum number value will be same with opposite sign. If you are taking in an orbit, so the electrons, both the electrons are present like this, so it is called spin parallel spin electrons. Parallel spin of orbital, parallel spin of electrons it is called. So it is an highly unstable configuration. We should not write like this, because here it is also plus 1 by 2, it is also plus 1 by 2. Both are having positive charge means they are having more repulsions. The spin of the both the electrons are same, then they are having more repulsion. It is highly unstable, which does not exist also. So the correct way will be what? It is one should be what? Upward direction, another one should be downward direction. So then it is called spin free orbital, spin free of electron in an orbital, spin free of an electron in orbital, or it is also called spin paid. It is called spin paid. Okay, na? Is that clear? That is 4 quantum numbers. Now I am going to represent here Now you see here in first energy cell, maximum how many electron we can fill? Only 2 electron. Those 2 electrons should be present in S2. Maximum capacity of S subcell will be 2. Now in second energy cell, maximum electrons will be 8, no? So in S subcell 2 and in P subcell 6. Total will be how many? 8. Now in third energy cell, maximum electron will be in S2, in P6 and D in 10. So total how many electron that can accommodate in third energy cell? 18 electron. If you are taking in fourth energy cell, 2 plus 6 plus 10 plus 14. That is total will be how much here? So 18 plus 14, that is 32. 32 electrons. Is that clear? So in that manner we have to distribute the electrons. So we found what are the way how we have to distribute the electron we found. So what are the principles we need to follow while distributing the electron? Those we are going to see in the next video. It is very important one. So that we will coming to see the next in the next video. After this video I will make you complete video of that one. So try to watch complete videos of my Appa chemistry classes. Definitely you are going to learn some information from my concepts, and whatever the information which you are learning here, only it will be related to chemistry only, which is completely based on competitive exams. Thank you. Have a nice day. Keep watching Appa chemistry classes.